Starting with question one about fear. The biggest part about fear is just live in the moment. It's stop worrying about the future. And so when you're talking to them, and as a sales manager especially, if you're so if you become more focused on what's happening here and now, then you won't have fear, because fear is just essentially what it is essentially just focused on the future. You can't really be fearful of something that's in the present or the past. It's fearful of the results, fearful of what may happen in the future. Going to number two, it's the similar principle. The question is, what did they mean by detach from the outcome? How can you do that if you're accountable for the results? The biggest thing is, or the biggest thing in this is, when you're talking to somebody, if you're focused on the activities, if you're focused on what's happening now, what needs to happen now, then you can detach from the further results, because the results come. So if you're so focused on numbers and helping your reps get certain numbers each and every time, and that's the only thing that you talk about, then it doesn't motivate the sales rep, and it doesn't actually help them reach their full potential. Number three, what things did you find valuable in the active listening section, and why? A few different parts of this. It goes back to the same principle with 1 and 2. It's when you're active listening, when you're actually focused on the sales rep, when you're listening to everything they're doing, then you're present. When you're mindful and when you're present and you're focused on what's happening, then you break away from the structure. You're able to adapt to each and every sales rep, and which is key. If you aren't able to do that, and if you're just solely focused on your agenda, what happens next, like the results that you need to get out of it, then you're not really listening to them. You're not making the emotional deposits they need to, which in reality, you're not truly coaching your sales reps if you're not actively listening and if you're not present with them. And the last question, what is meant by becoming fully accountable? There's no way to control everything. Why should I want to do this? The biggest thing is accountability is not control. Control is mainly focused on different aspects of a process. It's you being hands-on. You can fully influence the results that come from that. Whereas accountability is, if something happens in your life, you take accountability, you choose to act. It's the difference between acting and reacting. And if you are in a state of proactivity, if you're proactively taking whatever happens to you and you're going with it, because at the end of the day, you are accountable for the results that happen. And so regardless of whatever happens in your life, if you are fully accountable, if you look at what needs to happen and you just go with it, because at the end of the day, all the results fall on you, whether it's success or whether it's not. So you're accountable for how you respond to something else. If somebody is negative, or if a barrier hits and you're not able to get the full results in the way that you wanted to, then you are accountable for how you respond to that. If you choose to complain and you choose to quit, then you're accountable for the results that come because of that. If you choose to proactively choose a different path that allows you to get the results that you want, same thing. You're accountable for the results that come because of that. And so regardless of whatever happens in your life, if you take full accountability, that allows you to be successful.